Hello, you are listening to the OmniTalk Fast Five, brought to you in partnership with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Firework, SPS Commerce, and Sezzle. All right, let's roll on to headline number 5. Mercedes-Benz car and sport utility vehicle owners are now able to use ChatGPT artificial intelligence in their vehicles. According to Newsweek, the company began installing the technology in 900,000 cars this past Friday. The AI used in Mercedes vehicles is verbally triggered by uttering a "Hey Mercedes,"
Hey, Mercedes.
verbal command, and is built off of Microsoft's Azure OpenAI service. Chad, commerce from the car. Hey Mercedes. Hey girl.
Hey, Mercedes.
Can you find me some eggs? Are you in or out?
Oh, well, thank goodness. I was wondering when I was going to be able to draft a cover letter for a job application or create a marketing campaign or write a lovely ballad for my wife about butterflies and rainbows from the comforts of my Mercedes driver's seat.
Whatever you want to talk about on that hour and a half drive back from O'Hare to your house, Chad. You keep that to you and Mercedes. That's a bond that cannot be broken.
We've gotten there. I'm gonna hold my horse-powered horses on this one. Call me jaded from past experience. So I used to work for a company called Chamberlain Group, which was leading manufacturer of garage door openers, and we had a smart garage control technology called MyQ. And so we explored this automotive connectivity space pretty intently. Now, I'll admit that ChatGPT runs circles around Alexa in terms of its AI sophistication and capabilities. Full stop. Got it. But you know what the number one consumer use case for having voice controls in the car was? Like being able to check on and control your garage door, right? Like something very functional. Like couldn't actually develop meaningful Alexa use cases outside of that made any sense. And as a result, I've not had, deep penetration. So, maybe I'm just the old stodgy guy who worked on this stuff 5-6 years ago and, therefore makes me completely antiquated in this technology, but I can't wrap my head around the real use cases for ChatGPT in a driving environment that voice activation on your phone can't solve. But I'm interested whether, I'm completely missing the boat on this, and guys, and whether you're all geeked up on it. Is this headline of the year for you, Chris? Number 12.
Oh, wow. Well, subtle dig there, Chad.
Yes.
I like it. That's an interesting point though. Like, is this just voice commerce or voice, activation under a different guise? That's a really interesting question that you're raising.
Yeah. Or were you just too early ahead of your time with MyQ, Chad, and the resources that were available to you at that time? But Dave, are you in agreement? Where do you sit on this?
Yes. First of all, I have MyQ and it's fantastic. So well done, Chad.
You're welcome.
I just don't get it. Like, I think it could be a cool marketing ploy and play, where it's like, we are moving forward, we're innovative, we're always thinking about the future. And I think that is unique, but I have so many gadgets and gizmos in my car and I don't use any of them. I just want CarPlay. I want my music. I put in Google Maps and I drive. And so the last thing I'm using or wanting to do is having these really intense conversations with myself with ChatGPT in the car. And even so, let's say I have it. What would I use it for? Like, is there going to be a printer in the car that I could then print out the answer, or can I email the answer to myself? So I think conceptually it's cool where Mercedes is trying to be really innovative. But, until they put the printer in the car too, I'm not sure how I'm gonna.
I think you lost.
I thought
the
I was
audience
the old
at printer.
stodgy guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I thought I was the old guy. You're talking about needing to print it out.
Yes.
Whoa.
I don't know. I said email. I said email also.
Little chicken Dave, we are moving on from you. I'm sorry, Chris. How do you feel? Is this a "don't knock it till you try it" situation, or do you agree with Chad and Dave?
I think inherently I do. And the point that's bring up in my head is like, is commerce inherently a visual experience to some degree, right? Like, the Alexa analogy is really good that Chad brought up. I think the only thing I could consume on voice commerce with Alexa was Starbucks, because it's something I knew I was getting over and over again. So I think in that regard, when you think about like, I'm in my car, I'm stopping by the grocery store, I want the things that I know I want. Yeah. Okay, great. But then how much of an aspect is there, and yeah, I can make the use case of like, okay, I'm at the grocery store. I want these items, get them ready for me. Do you have flowers? Pick up some chrysanthemums for my wife, whatever it is, I could make that use case, but am I doing it in the car, or is that the best place to do that, to have that conversation, or am I facilitating that conversation? Could still be through voice, but is it through another mechanism like my phone or a computer to make that happen? I don't know. The other funny part about this, Ann, is like, we were joking, like it's going to be like AI story of the week here now. I mean, that's just how crazy this is getting, because there are commerce angles here, but right. It's like, what's the right platform for this? And that's why I'm wondering, like, I've never thought about that before. Like, how visual are we as consumers to be able to need to see things and interact with them as we're doing this new type of search, which is a question that I don't have the answer to.
Yeah, I don't think any of us can really talk about this because we aren't doing it yet. I think we are not shopping in this way. We have not engaged with ChatGPT in the way that I think we will be as this technology becomes more pervasive in our day-to-day lives. I'm giving you the multitasking mom perspective here from the Mercedes that I don't have, but if I did, I think like when I'm driving to and from sporting events and I have an hour here and there, and I'm like, I need to get kids food for dinner before we get to this practice, and I'm going to that field next, and then I got to figure this out. What, gluten-free choices are available for me in this area? Can you map out my route for tonight so that I can make sure that I'm getting people to the right spots at the right time and, picking up groceries if I want to on the way home? I think the idea that we can really have a conversation with this back and forth has never existed before. So until we start to have those experiences, I don't know that we can say like, this is a success or failure. I think we really need to give it some time, because to me, this will redefine the give me the play on words here, the shopper journey that we're going to be going on, whether we're in the car, we're at home, we're at work, and we're changing the way that we interact. I do think there's some visual components to it, but if I'm able to get some things done, and we think about ChatGPT as more of an assistant instead of like a direct, like placing an order on a retailer's website, I think that's where this starts to get really interesting and brings up an entirely new way of shopping.
Oh man, I have so many thoughts, but I'm gonna give the final word here to the A&M folks. What do you guys think? Chad, you're smiling.
I mean, in the end, I agree with Ann, right? I can be snarky and upfront and kind of say, hey, I don't see it, but I agree. Like I think the use cases and the utility of it is still continuing to manifest and get explored every time. Chris, you said, hey, we're going to see the AI topic of the week. Like, yeah, is like that going to be this year's, like where we saw like the Uber fast delivery agent of the week, pop up every time over the last 2 weeks. Yeah, we're going to see more and more of this coming to fruition. I think it is a full steam and freight train of opportunity in terms of what it can become. And so, I guess we'll see over time.
Dave, any final words?
Ann is making me a believer.
Wow.
And so
I knew I loved you, double chicken.
The use cases are more about questions, not questions to make life easier for business cases, so on and so forth. And so really leveraging it in your day-to-day, I think, is still unknown. And so whether that is, this is the type of food that I'm interested in, where, like, what should I find that's local, or give me a route that's more scenic. I think, like, I didn't even think about that. Like, where I'm in a new area, give me a cool route that takes me around the city. Something like that. So I think as time goes on and we potentially use it and it gets democratized, we'll have a better understanding of does it make sense, and then how it integrates into our lives.
I hope it's more than that.
You know what I mean.
You can have a conversation about the meaning of life, Chat. I mean, this is something that we just have no concept of the possibility.
I agree with that.